It's Jurassic Park, it's a massive park. What could possibly go wrong?
Huge amount.
Oh, that's the end of our podcast then?
Yeah, that's the review. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Wow. We normally save this. We have been saving this up for a week to do this podcast, but your poker face is no longer lasting.
I don't think I've done a poker face all week because, as you say, I saw it a while ago, and then you've just been to see it yesterday, and I think I've made my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. Let's get it right. Completely clear throughout that
Well,
time.
I've been avoiding it, but hello everyone, by the way.
Yeah, hi everyone.
So this is our review of Jurassic World Dominion. I bet you can't guess what Elaine thinks of it. So, yeah, this has been out a week now. You went to see it opening day, but then I've been away. We had a bit of sickness, which,
Fun times.
Yeah. And then I just went and saw it last night. Before we go into it...
All right, let's take a step back.
Yeah, let's take a step back. My relationship with Jurassic Park is... I remember getting the book for my 13th birthday. It was one of those soon to be a major motion picture.
Oh, really? So the Crichton book, probably with a Jurassic Park the
logo.
film logo.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So a tie-in book, right?
Yeah, I got that. Read it, went on holiday. It must be one of my last parent holidays, I guess, if it was from I was 13. I remember I read it cover to cover. My mum read it cover to cover, and my dad read it cover to cover while we were away. So I loved the film when it came out.
Even though the book, from what I understand, because I've never read a Crichton.
Oh, yeah.
Even though that book is quite different.
Massively
to
different.
The film, as far as I understand it.
But, I mean, the film's a masterpiece, the first one, at least. It's the awe of seeing... It was like seeing real dinosaurs for the first time, and I think that took the game up so much in terms of both animatronics and CGI. I'd still say that those effects stand up.
Totally.
That time when you see the Brontosaurus, it looks like there is a Brontosaurus there, better than films I've seen this year.
And the T-Rex.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the Brontosaurus or some of the CGI, you can see that there's almost like a lightness to the colouring that doesn't quite work, but the animatronics and the combination of animatronics and puppetry, for example with the velociraptors in the kitchen scene, where there's a bit of puppetry, there's a bit of animatronics, and then there's a bit of CGI for when they turn around. I'm doing lots of things with my hands here, which is really helpful for a podcast, but you can see that, you can absolutely see it, but it works.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you anything. I can tell you bits that may be in either Jurassic Park 2 or Jurassic Park 3.
Well, go into it, because I know those films really well.
So I know
I'd like to tell you all the things I know.
Vince Vaughn's in one of them.
Yeah.
Tia...
Do you want to guess which one?
3?
Nope.
Okay. Probably 2 then. Taya Leone?
Yeah.
3?
She's in 3.
William H. Macy? 3?
Yeah.
3, okay, right. Well, I'm pretty much... There's the scene at the beginning where a child runs into the jungle and comes across a dinosaur, and the dinosaur attacks the child.
Oh, sorry. So you're thinking about... So a child doesn't run into a jungle. A child is on a cruise with their parents, who are very posh and very English. And they say, "Darling, don't go wandering off." And she's like really cutesy, and she's like, "I won't, mummy," that sort of thing. And she just wanders along a sandy beach. And yes, there is a little bit of forestry there, and then all the tiny little, I think they're called gallimai. Well, I don't know the names of the dinosaurs, but the tiny little dinosaurs, they look like birds, and she tries to feed them, and then they attack her, and then she screams, and everyone screams.
So she runs into the jungle and meets a dinosaur.
But she doesn't run into the jungle. She's not running into
a
the
bit
jungle.
of forestry.
It's a little bit of forestry, but she's on I think you're meant to think that they've stopped off on Elon Sauna? Yeah, Elon Nublar's the first one, isn't it?
Elon Sauna's really dry, but warm, yeah.
Okay.
And Swedish.
Anyway, yeah, that's the second one.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Third one, is that the one where they go back and they're running tourist tours of the...
No, that's where William H. Macy and Tia Leone are this couple that are either divorced or divorcing, and their son has gone like paragliding or whatever it's called. You know, when you're up in a
Parachute.
Yes. And it's something
Paragliding.
saw because it's
Yeah.
I think it's called something like a dino saw, if you get the pun. And the son has gone on this adventure with the mum's new partner, and they have glided into to look at. It's like you are losing patience with me now. I can just see this, but it's like a tourist thing that they've put on. Go and see the dinosaurs, but of course, the saw gets,
Jurassic World.
Yeah. Sorry. Can I just finish before we move on? I was put off by the look on your face. Both those films have had a really bad rap over time. I like them, right? Despite the fact that I cannot give you a decent summary of them, I really like them. I like the Jurassic World, the Lost World, Jurassic Park. Needs the Jurassic. See, it says all the worlds, doesn't it? The Lost World, Jurassic Park. The second one, a lot goes into Jeff Goldblum. You've got Julianne Moore in there, like you say, Vince Vaughn, Pete Postlethwaite. You've got some really, really good people, some extensions of the book and the ideas of Michael Crichton. 3 was a complete mess. I think they were making the script as they went along, massive changes to it. But actually, I think is one of the scarier versions of the franchise. And I watched a little bit of it the other day, having watched Jurassic World 3. Dominion, and thought, oh wow, this is so much better than I think people give it credit for. So I really do like those, and I'm a real sucker, as you know, with my love for Jaws 2 and Jaws 3, I'm sucker for a slightly subversive sequel. A sequel that's not very good, but also just does weird things. I really like that. That's a really, I like those
Crank
things.
2 coming to date night soon. I mean, that's a subversive sequel.
I'm sure.
Yes. So then Jurassic World, which we've all watched the...
We've all watched, have we?
Yeah, we watched them together. They've been during our relationship.
I thought you were talking about everyone. We've all watched it. Yeah, we have seen it together.
I know, critical analysis of Jurassic World is now not too kind, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's daft. There's a big theme park. Shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
People run from dinosaurs. I think Chris Pratt is a star in it.
But he was coming off Guardians of the Galaxy at that point. His stock was absolutely... I would say it's rising. It had risen and peaked at that point.
And, Invisible Dinosaur, I'm fine with that stupidness of it. And,
It was very colour saturated. It took it to the next level. I liked the kids weren't annoying. It had that family feel to it, and I know, but there's 2 boys, but it was good. I enjoy if it's on the telly. I don't mind it being on in the back. I like the nods to.
I like it when the
original.
pterodactyl's trying to take off with the baby triceratops and
that's really sad.
can't pick it up. I like it when the personal assistant gets.
Yeah. I mean that is a horrible moment in that, as well as thinking that's meant to be like a family-friendly film. But Jurassic Park was. Jurassic Park's a family-friendly horror. It's a lot of people of our era. That's the first time they probably saw in a quote-unquote family film with a Spielberg film, saw that level of darkness and people getting
sliced open and their guts falling out.
And
which I imagine now, because I've not seen it for a little while, but I imagine it's far worse in my mind than it is in actual reality. I imagine guts falling onto the floor.
I think it's the threat as well.
Yeah.
So if you remember that scene where Lex and Tim are in the Jeep and it's turned under and she manages to, but he's stuck there, and then the water and the mud is rising, and he's got a dinosaur on the other side of him, like a T-Rex coming at him, but he's also being crushed into. That's what sticks with me. I'm not really thinking about the dinosaur. I'm thinking about this kid being crushed in mud and drowning in mud. That's horrific.
It's okay. He goes on to play with Queen, so
yeah, he does.
And then Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
Which is a film of 2 halves.
Yeah, it is.
The first half where they go to the park, I can deal with.
Yeah, well, they're not going to the park, are they? Are they going back to save the
I've
dinosaurs?
not thought
Oh, no,
about
they
that
are, actually. I
since
think
the
they are
time.
going back
Yeah,
to
they
the
go back to the
park.
park because
Well,
of the
they go back-
broken
yeah.
like orbs from the first one,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you have to hide under that. And then the second half, I just cannot
was-
in them.
And some people love that, you know. Some people really
Yeah.
love that J. Bayona-ness of that film, the haunted house. But all I can remember is Toby Jones, who I love. Just it's really a hammy part. This monster and I realise the dinosaurs are all spliced with frog DNA and all of this sort of thing. I know they're not dinosaurs as they would have been, but they start to do all sorts in Fallen Kingdom, don't they? And I know it comes from Jurassic World as well, where they're making the Indora, we're putting all these things together, and then all these people bidding for it in a room, and then you've got this clone girl, and just I couldn't cope with it, and I've seen it again, and it got worse the second time round.
I've not thought about that since the second we left until prepping for this. And that left us at a position where dinosaurs had escaped into the real world.
A small number of dinosaurs.
Yes, yeah, okay.
I'm making that point now.
Yeah, a small, I think it was 12 dinosaurs, was it?
Oh,
yeah.
you know more than me.
Yeah.
I just remember there being a small number of some very specific species.
That are in they're in the USA.
Are they in the USA? Is it a British mansion that they're in?
Anyway, they're all confined in one country. And only a few of them can fly.
Yeah.
That's not the final part of the Jurassic Park saga, though, until we get to this film. Because there was Battle at Big Rock.
Right. Okay, I'm saying yes. Now, is Battle at Big Rock almost like a short?
Yes.
Where some people are in, I want to say caravans, but it's not. It's
camping,
like camper
like
vans, and they're camping, and they're in like a forest.
Yeah.
And it's a really good. I remember it. It was a really good, and I thought it was part of the final film. Sadly, it was not. But they're being attacked by a dinosaur. I can't remember which one.
I think
was
it's
a T-Rex.
Yeah, probably. You go for the stars.
Yeah,
Put the stars in there.
And really very reminiscent of the original, with a little bit of Lost World in there. Yeah,
and it tied it up nicely. So, Elaine, tell us what you think about Jurassic World Dominion.
Well, Mark. Well, I'm trying not to be angry because I don't think it's worth my time to be angry about this film. I'm just really disappointed in the story. Really disappointed in the gaping plot holes. I'm disappointed in the fact that it makes no sense whatsoever. And I realise that if you break the original Jurassic Park down and Michael Crichton's vision, obviously he's doing that thing. It's science fiction. So he's saying that there's a mosquito that bit a dinosaur years ago. The blood of the dinosaur is within the mosquito, and then it was in some amber, and that amber has magically gone onto John Hammond's walking stick, and John Hammond has used all of his money to extract the blood, splice it with amphibian DNA, and magically we've got dinosaurs, right? So you could pick that completely apart, couldn't you? But there is a simplicity to it, and there is a way of following the story, and it's believable in the sense of, oh, okay, I can kind of see how that might occur.
I'll challenge. I think the premise of the original Jurassic Park works perfectly. I think there is enough. Okay, that's plausible amongst the sciencey wyancy bits.
Yeah.
For it to say it absolutely works. Yeah.
Yeah. This film, there's none of that. There are, and I know we'll get into spoilers, I'm sure, pretty sharpish, to be quite honest with you. There is no plausibility. And I'm not just talking about the setup of the film, I'm talking about many different plot threads that had me just going, hang on a minute, hang on, that just doesn't work. And not even a sort of like, oh, wait, let me just, dinosaurs that really exist in the world, let me just park my, I can't believe anything over there. I'm with it. I'm with the film. I'm with the people. I'm wanting this film to be good. So I can overcome some leaps. But the leaps are so big. They're just, they're great big T-Rex footprint, water bobbling away in the footprint, giant holes, right? And it just doesn't know what it wants to be. It's 5 different films all roll into one. It starts off in a way that I've never seen a Jurassic Park of any of the franchise films start. So much so that I thought, hang on, is it starting? Is this the right, am I watching something? Am I watching like a prologue that's going to get me into something else? I just found myself, especially in that first half. Second half, I was a little bit brighter with it, but that first half, I just was thinking, it feels fanficky, like bad fanficky. I don't like the people. I think Bryce Dallas Howard, I love Bryce Dallas Howard as a person. I think her direction on The Mandalorian has been fantastic. I really love her in things like Charlie Brooker's... Why can't I think of the name? Thank you. Black Mirror. I thought that episode that she did where she was the focus was brilliant. But in this, and it's not her fault, it absolutely is not her fault, she's been reduced to the character of mother.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's her character in this film.
Okay, yeah.
And Chris Pratt has one move with his little arm, and that is it. And all the sort of the banter that they had, in the original, not the original, but the first Jurassic World, there was this, like, they were clearly going, and you could see it in the way that they dressed Bryce Dallas Howard. They were clearly going for this African queen vibe, that she was sort of slightly uptight woman. They had her in a lot of what Katharine Hepburn was wearing during the African Queen. They had him as like this sort of like ramshackle, that's clearly the vibe. But I enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked the fact that she softened during it. He softened, that there was a relationship forming there. I didn't believe any of it in this. Like I say, second half, I started to soften a little bit myself and thought, okay, there are things in here I kind of recognise. I think we're going back to some of the original film points. There's quite a lot of, throwbacks to other films, which actually sometimes you think, oh, that's great. I really like those films. I'm talking like Indiana Jones, for example. I really like an Indiana Jones film. But when you see it like this, you just think, well, can't we just go and watch the original Indy then? Because this is just nodding to it in a way that I don't think it needs to. And it's just reminding me how good those other films are. I came away thinking, it's just nothingness. There's just nothing. I don't have... It's Peter Bradshaw from, I think, writing for The Guardian, has given it 1 star. And I saw that review before I went in, so my expectations were quite low.
Yeah.
But I was expecting a really bad film. It's not a really bad film. It's just a nothingness film. And the reason why I'm like teetering on like sort of anger but majorly disappointment is I really loved Colin Trevorrow's directorial debut, Safety Not Guaranteed, 2012. It was a really seminal film for me. Absolutely loved it. I wasn't a fan of sort of like indie films, and this was a very indie sort of like arty film. And I love the soundtrack. Like I continue to listen to that to this day. The storyline, the plotting, everything really stayed with me. Had my favourite Jake Johnson in, just to throw that in there as well. Yeah. Let's think about that. So that for I was like, oh, Trevorrow, like he's amazing and he's gonna have this brilliant career. And then I've just been like, Colin Trevorrow, please go back to your little indie, lovely, arty films, because this ain't working. Jurassic World, fine, but this is not working. And that's where I'm at. I'm at that sort of, And I hate that about a Jurassic Park film. I really do. I really hate. I prefer for it to be awful, and for me to have a bit of verve behind it. And go, oh, I hate this and I hate that, rather than me just going, oh, and just having this sadness attached to it.
Okay.
So you've seen it. Obviously, yesterday. I've had a long time to think about this. I've listened to other reviews. You're coming fresh out.
Yes.
Are you in agreement with me, or are we at completely different ends of the spectrum here?
I hated this film more than any other film I've seen all year. And I've seen Morbius.
Oh, worse than Morbius?
Oh, it's...
And is that on my point of a bad film is a bad film,
yeah.
but a meh film is like...
Morbius doesn't try... This film believes it has ideas of talking about cloning and things like that. I would love to do a commentary with you when it comes out on Blu-ray and put it on, and I'll talk through every single stupid plot point that they're doing. This feels like a film that's been written by AI. Have you... your Twitter's very different to mine. Have you come across like
sure if that's like a
DALL-E Mini?
DALL-E Mini? No.
So DALL-E Mini, this is going to age the podcast massively. It's a little bit of a phenomenon online at the minute, and it's an AI image generator. So you can type in whatever you want, and it will create a block of 9 images of that thing, using Google Images to sort of search for individual things. We can try it now while we're on the podcast. Yeah. And the point of this is, right, so, no, let's go this. Right, so name something you want a picture of.
Dinosaur.
No, right.
What?
You can Google dinosaur.
Mark put his hand on his head when he said that.
Right.
Just to let everyone know.
Okay, right.
So, an image of a thing I want.
Right.
But everything I can Google.
Name a character. Like either a person or a fictional character or a...
What, like Batman or something like that?
Batman. Brilliant. Right, so we're going to put Batman in.
Name a character. That's telling, isn't it? It's
okay,
like,
yes.
What do you think of first? Batman.
Okay, name a activity.
Skipping.
Right, okay. So, if we can put Batman skipping.
Yes. Yeah. That's
right?
what we're doing.
And then,
we'll put my
there's too
on.
much traffic at the minute, so please try again later. So, we'll try this later. Mm-hmm. So, the point of this is that this will go off, it'll find pictures of people skipping, and it'll find pictures of Batman, and it will try and merge them into multiple different pictures of Batman skipping. It takes a couple of minutes to run. And the reason this has gone wild is, this is probably a brilliant piece of technology, but the results are just shit enough. Mm-hmm. Like, they look weird because it's not perfect technology yet. So,
and no one sort of tweaked it and...
Oh, no, I mean, it's in a very early stage. I mean, it's...
No, I mean, like, humans aren't there to go,
no.
let's change that. That's not quite right.
Yeah.
So, it's all
so Batman
AI,
looks really weird. This feels like... This is something where it's picked out, like, a number of Jurassic Park films and then a number of other hit films that have gone and popular over the past few years. And then just... A computer has just made a film out of it.
So right.
There is the bad guy in this film, and I've got a lot to talk about the bad guy in this, but we'll do that in spoilers. Kind of like, is he doing one thing? Is he doing another thing? Because in one way he's evil this way, in another way he's evil in a different way.
That's interesting because I didn't mind him quite so much. So I think when we get into spoilers,
his motivations are all over the place. Like, just have him be a bad guy for a reason, not just like. How diverse is this fucking company that he works for? Like, in that they're doing that, and I'm doing actions, so it's spoilers free, and also that as well. Mm-hmm. Yet he's involved, like, overseeing every single thing, like, to the point where the rooms are next door to each other. There's, like, none of this makes sense, like, geographically wise. Early on, it's explained that dinosaurs are spread all over the world, and, like, some can fly so that I can take them. How would the T-Rex get across the water?
Agreed.
To take a cruise, get on a plane. He's not got a passport, so never get through security.
And it's not just the T-Rex.
Yes.
And we still call them the pterodactyls, but I think they're called something else now. Like, they're like pterosaurs or something like that.
We've got Batman skipping.
Oh, hang on. We're back to Batman.
So, Batman skipping. There's, like, a really weird robe.
That is weird.
Like...
Why doesn't Batman have a face?
Well, it doesn't do faces very well.
This... Oh, and there's a very interesting picture of Batman
Behind
kneeling,
Batman.
and there's another Batman directly behind him. That's interesting.
So, yeah.
Oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, that was a little aside just to explain, like, the AI that I've been seeing at the minute.
That is much like this film. You were
Yes.
absolutely like, such a good, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Where were we?
This
Oh,
is-
so yeah, dinosaurs are everywhere, and there's all sorts of species, and where have they all come from?
I don't blame anyone for this, but I think a lot of the performances are phoned in. There are people who I like, but they're all on completely different energy to each other. There are new characters that are introduced, all of which are the new characters are fine.
I think the new characters are the best of the bunch, to be quite honest with you.
And they are actors that probably have, can make a career out of being in a Jurassic World film. A lot of returning actors, not so much. I've had people really praise some of the actors in this.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
The one thing it's on the trailer, so let's just say the original trio come back of Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, thank you, and Jeff Goldblum.
And just Jeff Goldblum. I mean, he is now, isn't he? He's just
Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum has reached the point that David Hasselhoff reached about 15 years ago, where he has become self-aware and is now just playing
the Hoff.
Yeah, well, he's playing Goldblum.
The Goldblum.
There is no, for me, there is absolutely no choices that he's placed in this that would separate him from his character in, say, Thor Ragnarok.
Thought exactly the same thing, actually. Yeah.
And it undermines the peril when he's titting about.
I like him, but then if you think back to the original, there was this sense of he was scared. You really got the sense of he was scared. He didn't quite know what was, I mean, a lot of actually the original, he's out for the count, isn't he? He's lying there with his chest out.
But he drives he's the guy saying
It's the
you're doing this
theory
wrong.
yeah.
In this, he's gone, we're all fucked. So I'm just gonna and he is titting about. He is D-mob happy. He is ready to die, and appears to be wearing 3D glasses. Which I'm glad I didn't see this in 3D, but he takes them off to go driving. So
okay, interesting.
Yeah, interesting use.
I did like there was a little nod to we're not in spoilers yet, but there was a little nod to the original with Jeff Goldblum, which I like, which I'll come back to when we're in spoilers.
There's one thing with me that I enjoyed. Probably one of the two times I laughed during this, because the other problem is I found a lot of the humour here just completely.
Yeah, I did not find it funny.
But
that's not really, a worry for me, because I find very little funny. But you kind of want some kind of relief every now. You want, well, this is my problem, Mark. I wasn't scared, and I get scared really, really easily. And then you want the humour to balance it out.
And the problem,
were you scared?
No, because the problem with this is it's just a set piece after a set piece. You walk up to, they walk along, they say, "Oh look, that's a Gigalosaurus wank," and then it goes rah, and then they run away, and then we move on to the next one. There's absolutely no context, and there's no Timmy's fucking annoying in the first one, but at least him and Lex.
That annoying. I think when they're meant to be slightly, because Grant doesn't like kids, so it's playing off that. But I don't think he's hideously annoying for the audience.
Him and Alan Grant are able to explain to the people who are not experts on dinosaurs what's going on. And this, in this, we just meet a dinosaur, and oh look, it's a dinosaur, and this one's got feathers, and this one looks like Vega from the Street Fighter games, and
references I don't get.
The one, Freddy Krueger. You know Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
What do you know about Freddy Krueger?
Right, okay, right, yeah. Right, yeah, okay.
This one's.
Okay.
Yeah, and the geography in this is just at one point they're at one part of the park, and then someone opens a door, and I'm like, well, hang on, he was 10 miles away.
Yeah.
Shall we get into spoilers?
Yeah,
because I want to have some fun with this.
Well,
I've been waiting all day for this. Yeah.
Okay, we'll play a bit of the trailer,
yes.
And we'll be back in a bit.
And we'll see you on the other side.
A baby raptor? I made a promise we would bring her home.
You made a promise to a dinosaur.
Yeah. What?
Fucking locusts.
So when you watch this, and sometimes I know I can't pick things up quite quickly, so this will be interesting.
Yes.
When you watch this, kids in a field, right?
Yeah.
Fields of wheat, and suddenly these things sort of arrive out of the field, and did you think they were dinosaurs?
No.
I couldn't understand why I was seeing a different film.
Because I saw this a week after you, and I saw people go, fucking locusts online for a week.
Maybe that's the thing. Yeah, I thought I was watching a different... And I couldn't comprehend it. You know, you're sitting there and you're going, hang on a minute, where am I? And are these dinosaurs? Are these tiny dinosaurs? And is this where the horror's going to come from? Because these kids are like barricaded into this and really did feel that they were going to come and get them. And I was like, but who are these children? Do they belong to, are we going to be introduced to these guys? No, we never see them again.
No.
We don't even know what happened to them. And then Ellie Sattler turns up with her bio
and goes,
botany.
And goes, well, you've cleared out your field, but what's up with that field over there?
That CGI green field over there.
Meanwhile, there's Tim Robinson in his hot dog suit going, yeah, who's to blame for this?
Who's Tim Robinson?
Oh, I think you should leave. You've seen, it's a meme online. You've seen the sketch with the hot dog car.
Yes, with the hot dog. Yeah. Sorry.
Why would they need to go and, they've got a locust. Mm-hmm. It's pretty obvious that if these things are going around the country, burning up every field, apart from
a major ecological problem.
Yeah,
There's going to be no crops left, but no one seems to be talking about this.
Apart from ones made by biosin.
Yeah.
So I think the CIA might put two and two together. Yeah. I mean, they've got an in at the CIA, Justice Smith, who's we have
to go through that as well. I mean, actually.
Yeah, because the onboarding at the CIA is absolutely fantastic. Because he starts, and after 1 week, he knows every single mission that's going. Totally. He could work his iPad like hell.
He can work his iPad. He can come outside and give you classified information.
There was literally no time had passed between those two events, seemingly.
Two completely different characters.
Yeah.
I know time has passed in between these films.
But it doesn't... No.
He's not the same person as he was when he was this slightly awkward, little bit geeky lad that was helping out, But
he's in the van and says, I'm leaving to get a proper job.
Yes.
Next scene, he's working for the CIA.
Because everyone's working for the CIA now, because Jake Johnson and the other lady, who I can't remember her name. Yeah. She's a comedy actress as well, isn't she?
But also appear on a...
We'll just swipe. It reminded me of, sometimes, when you watch, the X-Men franchise, and they swipe through some images, and you can go, oh, there's Sabretooth.
Yeah,
if you're like, no, and they look at some X-rays, and you're like, oh, that's Angel.
Yeah.
I've seen that before in the X-Men franchise, and I thought, but on this, it was just like, oh, you're just showing me people that I wish were in the film. Thanks very much. Where is Jake Johnson? He's not in it. Good for him.
But they decide to go on a little mission to... to get, another locust, because you've already got one. And...
Oh, sorry, are you talking about that now... So she's now gone to see Alan,
yes.
who apparently is the only person who can help her, even though Jeff Goldblum's helping her, because
yes.
Jeff Goldblum's going to let her into the buyers in.
Yeah.
But we want to bring Alan along just so he can be a witness. Should he be a witness?
None of this fucking makes sense.
None of this makes sense. And this is only little parts of the film. The whole idea that there are these... And this is before we get to Biosin creating their own dinosaurs, where the DNA is pure, as we learn when we get there. And the new guy, I think is his name Mamadou, the actor's name. Will you look it up for me while I'm talking? But he's called Ramsey, the character name, and I thought he was really good. I thought he was in a completely different film.
Mamadou Ati.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's very low energy, and he appears to be be in a art house film very quietly and lowly,
and really thinking
whilst
about
everyone else is like this.
Yeah,
but as the first in line to the CIA, he knows a hell of a lot of what's going on, including the codes to doors and stuff like that. That annoyed me. And you can just type them in when
I
just passing by.
I don't mind that quite as much, because if you know,
I think in a better film that doesn't bother me. But
my point was, he's explaining when he's doing his little let's have a tour around the park in inverted commas. So you've got these other dinosaurs that you come into contact with that have the feathers, for example, which we now we're now told that they had feathers, and all the things that have now occurred from the original film in 1993. We're now seeing that coming to fruition, and in terms of our knowledge being expanded and seeing it in its film. But before we get to that point, when we're seeing this news footage nonsense at the beginning that belongs in completely a different film, we're seeing dinosaurs, like you said in the non-spoiler session. You're seeing dinosaurs that have apparently floated on a boat, much like the T-Rex in Lost World, floated on a boat to other continents, or being picked up by the pterodactyls and taken to the...
Do you reckon they had a little shuttle system?
And also, they seem to have like little partners as well. So, I can understand they're saying that, and we'll get to this as well, I'm sure. Blue, which we haven't talked about yet, but Blue can reproduce by herself. Okay, we saw that in the first film, that, the amphibian DNA meant that they could reproduce. Fine. Fine. But then, suddenly out of nowhere, there are partner dinosaurs for the single dinosaurs.
Every fucking dinosaur must be recreating, because it was only 12, and now...
And some of them are very old and very big. I mean, it's only been a few years. So, and like there's a beautiful scene at the beginning, and it gets completely overtaken by everything else. But there's this lovely scene of the, I don't know if they're like meant to be, are they Brontosaurus or Diplodocus or whatever they're called? Anyway, the ones with the long necks, right? The ones with long necks. And one gets up and walks off, and Clone Girl's there, and they wave, they're in a quarry or a mine or something. And then out of nowhere, the second one sort of comes, beautiful, almost looked like it belonged in, the first film, or in a completely different film that would have been really good, exploring how the world coped with the fact that we're sharing space with massive monsters that eat us.
Yes.
Right? I know not all of them. Vegisaurus, Lex Vegisaurus, right? But...
Do the voice.
No. But the majority are going to be stamping on us, eating us, and generally getting in the way, right?
And
so why not look at how we, and there's all sorts of environmental messages in there that I know Trevor was trying to get to, and the other writers as well. But why not look at that? That was interesting. I am not interested in Chris Pratt getting his little hand out and stopping a monster when I try that with my 3-year-old and he just laughs at me.
I mean, right, okay, so 2 points here. One, Chris Pratt taught Blue to react to the hand, right?
Yeah, but...
That's the point, yeah?
I get that. It's a training thing, right?
He can now just do that with every dinosaur that he just meets.
We just do it at people. He should just do it at, like, Bryce Dallas Howard.
And also... Alan Grant can do it.
Alan Grant wants to do it, and it's like...
Maisie Clonason can do it.
Yeah, they're making Alan, like, look... It's almost like making Alan Grant look up to, look what he can do, and I can do it. And changing the relationship between Alan Grant and the Velociraptors, which was this major point, even in Jurassic Park 3, when they steal some raptor eggs in Jurassic Park 3. I know you probably won't remember that. But it's one of these things of, like, you've got to give the eggs back to them because the raptors want the eggs, and part of the plot to try and get away from the threat is give them back the eggs. And this, because they're dangerous creatures. And then you just, there's a cute one and we're going to call it Beta or Beta or whatever, however you say it. I know.
But to get to your other point,
yeah.
There is a really interesting film of how dinosaurs live amongst man. I mean, look, the government would have nuked a T-Rex by now, because you can't just have a T-Rex walking about.
You can't just have one wandering about.
Yeah, like, look, everyone's dead.
Pterodactyls are at One World Trade Center. Yeah, like, that's going to be allowed. Oh, they're just nesting there. Oh, we're all getting along together.
Imagine the crap on those windows.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a long way up.
Seriously.
I wonder if there was a script that was written and it was deemed too close to... The film that I wanted was... Planet of the Dinosaurs, like the Planet of the Apes films, which
I've heard
really,
other people
really
talk
well.
about this on their reviews. I've
not listened
have
to.
You not listened? That's really interesting because I thought you might have picked it up from some of the others, because they were talking about the difference between this franchise, particularly this second trilogy, and the Planet of the Apes film, the most recent one.
I've got issues with the Planet of the Apes films, but
they're
like
beautifully rendered.
Yeah,
storyline fabulous,
and at least they progressed on in a way that I wanted.
And made sense.
Yes,
there was an evolution.
There was a logical evolution.
Yeah.
And Can we talk about the mysterious cloning girl and?
Yeah, I mean, let's just run riot over everything that Bayona did. I mean, I don't know if he wrote it, but they did in Fallen Kingdom, because that made no sense.
Can I just say something? You're an academic.
Hello.
When you're doing research, do you write it down?
I try to. Yes.
This woman.
I don't video it.
This woman cured all genetic disease.
Yes, she did.
She could make the world where hereditary cancers and any hereditary condition
sort of
could be cured.
Yeah.
Didn't tell anyone.
Nope.
Made videos going, done it to her. And there's another one lying about. There's a clone of her. The humane thing to do. She's history's greatest monster. Mm-hmm. The humane thing to do is to take her out in the woods and get rid of her.
What? Why? What?
Because it's a clone of the evil girl. It's a clone of the evil woman.
I don't think I agree with you.
She'll do it again.
No, she's had all badness eradicated from her.
No, she had illness. she had any empathy taken off her.
Oh, and I disagree. I disagree that I think and the major point they're trying to say is that she's saying, oh, I'm just a clone of this other person. But, and what they're trying, and I did like this thematically, Bryce Dallas Howard at the beginning says to her, no, you are your own person. And I like that idea of, you can be what, you don't have to follow the so, but I totally get what you mean, in a sense. I totally get what you mean by this person has cured all this, has
all genetically inherited diseases.
Inherited that she has herself, and she has created a clone of herself that doesn't have the disease that then goes on to kill her, and then she dies, leaving this child with her dad, is it? Because I can't remember the relationship between...
No, it was a granddad.
Okay, right. So it was her dad then.
The farmer, Cromwell, farmer from
James Cromwell.
Yeah, thank you.
So, but it doesn't make any sense because he's I'm so confused. He says in the second film she died in an accident. And you're meant to believe there's this tragic backstory of like this child, his own child, that had this all this emotion attached to it, that she died in this childhood accident, because you don't see pictures of her grown up. You see pictures of her at Maisie's age and younger, obviously, than she is now. So she died in this childhood. So he cloned her so that he would have this child again. That's total nonsense. That's just lies. And why not say, oh, your mum was a scientist and she did at that point? Because they've just decided to change it this film.
There is, I mean, the parallels between this trilogy and the new Skywalker trilogy are just... There's a director that when there was some unpopular decisions made, and then so the original director came back and he's just ripping up the toolbook and doing a really incoherent job in making a film on the third film. For me, it's just there's so much of this that I can see in my mind's eye clips from the film, and I just want to talk about how they don't make sense, but I think we'd be here for hours because there's so much of it. Hyperloop. The Hyperloop that they have in the facility.
The very fast train.
Yes, which works by being in a sealed tube.
Okay.
Apart from when they do a little wall in the tube to allow an amber mine, and B, which has dinosaurs in, so dinosaurs can just walk on the line. Oh god, yeah. Oh, sorry, there's a problem with the Hyperloop. Yeah, dinosaurs been hit again. We really should brick that wall up.
And interestingly, Dodgson, who it's not the same actor, but it's meant to be the same character.
Is it? Is it meant to be the same?
It is meant to be the same person. It's not the same actor, but it's meant to be the same person. Because I kind of see, if someone was a competitor to John Hammond, then it would be interesting to see what that person then did. But he should not have the Barbasol can, because Dennis Nedry lost that when he was spattered in the eyes from the big
But that's the
dinosaur
that and the name
Yeah.
is the only thing that links these two characters
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Like, I kind of... They should have... We've already mentioned Street Fighter 2, so I'm going to talk about Mortal Kombat 2. So in Mortal Kombat 2, like, when you do a certain move, like, one of the developers comes on the side of the screen for reasons I don't know, so I can't explain to you, and says, Toasty! What I want is, whenever he comes on screen, I want Wayne Knight to come on the side of the screen and go, Dodson! We've got Dodson here! And just to let me know that that's him, because there's no other... I mean, he's doing Tim Cook.
So people have said this. I should know this.
He's the new CEO of Apple. He's
CEO
the new Steve Jobs.
Well, I do not know who... I have not seen enough of this person. I probably have, but I can't visualise it to say... I thought he was doing a bit of Steve Jobs. I thought... People are talking about Elon Musk. I don't think he's doing Elon Musk. But he's doing that slightly
I wish he'd fucking back Twitter and stop titting about him.
We've talked about that a lot on the... But you keep mentioning that. I mean, that you talk about aging the podcast. That's,
yes.
Yeah, every now and again you come up and talk about Musk and Twitter. So I get what he's trying to do. I didn't mind it. Here we go, bit of positivity. I didn't mind. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was different to the evil rub your hands together baddie. There was more to it in the context of this film.
I mean, I just don't understand how they've got a restricted layer. I mean, the etiquette with these bands. I mean, I'm told not to give my pass out to people at work, but these bands just hand it around like they're candy, and where you can get into any...
No, because Ramsey gives them it. I'm going to defend this slightly. Ramsey gives them the band because he's in on it, isn't he? So he's giving them a special band. But Ian
Malcolm says they later say that Ian Malcolm puts it in her pocket.
Right.
And then later on, maybe next scene...
No, maybe that's right. Yeah, maybe Malcolm gives it to them, and then he says, "Don't." That's it. He says, "Don't go down there to the restricted section."
And then the next scene, BD Wong just leaves his line around him, so Maisie grabs it.
Oh yeah, Maisie gets it.
Literally in the next scene,
And BD Wong, bless him, he's very sad in this film, because normally he is the rubbing his hands. I'm going to create another dinosaur. I'm going to make lots of money.
I did start to think that it might be just him. He is only ever seen in a laboratory, like a hologram that only exists in... Because that's all he ever does in these films. Yeah. It's him. He's
having a great time.
Him and Mr. DNA.
I always think, he's... Like, that role was brilliant. And I like the fact that he had sort of like emo hair in this one as well, because he's sad for the first time ever. He's really sad, and he's really regretful for what he's done with his locusts, and but he's gonna get this girl, and he's gonna get this dinosaur, and he's gonna cure the world of the locusts. It makes no sense.
No.
What is it about Blue?
Yeah.
And what is it about Maisie that's gonna stop that? Surely the Maisie thing should be, let me study you to find out how I can cure the world of all genetic illness. Like,
because your mum didn't,
you
didn't.
Oh, and then the other... sorry, I'm going back to the hideous... The bit on the train where Ellie then... I knew your mum. Oh, no. No, don't do that. No, you didn't. We've never heard of her until, 5 minutes ago, where some woman who's, like, might have been a little bit de-aged or a little bit merged with the girl who plays Maisie. We've only just met her, and we've never heard of her before. Don't go saying that you now. Oh, I knew her on the old Jurassic. No, you didn't.
I mean, so many times in this film, it's just a complete coincidence that just pays off. So, they're in Malta for 2 minutes, and the first person she speaks to is an American that just so happened to have seen her daughter,
and that just has this crisis of conscience. And I thought there was going to be some sort of get my teeth in, a spy plot, because Justice Smith has set up there's these CIA blah blah blah. I thought she was a CIA agent. I thought, that's interesting. So she's going to be in there, and she's going to help them, and that's how it's all going to come back round. And there's at one point where Chris Pratt says to her, "Why are you helping us?" I'm like, I'm waiting for the reveal here. Yeah. She's like, "Oh well, something about are you going to ask me questions, or am I going to fly this?" But
I thought there was going to be a plot of I had my daughter taken, or something like that.
Something like that.
At least something.
Or Biosyn did something to me, or I'm not really who you think about. I have to say, I really liked Wonder Wise. I thought that she had a spark to her that, like you say, other people were phoning it in. She was really going for it. I thought she actually had some really good chemistry with Chris Pratt. I thought the scenes with her and Pratt were some of the best ones. And there really seemed to be this almost like, you know, the one-upmanship with her, womanmanship with her, in that she was like, come on, Chris, I'm going to do this.
Was one of the highlights for me. Yeah. It worked because I felt peril. But they flew miles away from where Bryce Dallas Howard came out in the parachute, and then all of a sudden, like 5 seconds later, they're just together. There is they split up, and then 2 scenes later they're together. And
it's the same with the whole how's Chris Pratt know there's a plane at that particular spot? You know,
he'll be there.
He'll be how? Well, we haven't told him.
It's not like it's a meeting point. Yeah.
I was really sad that you have like people coming back, like Omar Sy, who's in it for a bit, and then I don't even think there's a resolution to that. Like,
no.
Chris Pratt rescues him, and then off he goes.
It's not memorable if it is.
No.
I
know. And then what are we left with? You know, you get to the end, you have the T-Rex come.
There's fake Dennis Nedry at one point.
Oh, there is a fake Dennis. You're absolutely right. I did spot that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting at the controls.
Yeah. Just never seen again.
Yeah. I know. And the bit, see if it's the same bit, because we talked about this in non-spoilers. The bit that I quite liked, the nod, was Jeff Goldblum doing up his shirt and looking down. I really like that as a very subtle reference to it.
Yeah. That was exactly the one. Mm-hmm. All the others just were far too on the nose.
Indiana Jones hat.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a hat. Yeah, well, he had a hat in the... Yes.
I did quite like the raptors coming through the door, like in The Shining. But But the other laugh that I had...
we're in the mines. Yeah.
The other laugh that I had was... purely on the fact that there is an actor in here who plays a semi-recurring character in Stath Lets Flats of someone who Stath is showing around a flat and burns down the flat. It's the British guy who is doing the coffees when... Yeah. He does a lot on YouTube. I've seen him on a lot of things.
You know what? That was the one thing that made me laugh, was that nod to, you know, how do you have your coffee, and that
yes.
Obviously taking people who don't typically go hipster coffee shops, and what with it. Yeah, I did like that. Yeah. I thought it was sort of Anyway, but I'm not saying it's a terrible time. I think set pieces good. People, good. You know, like, not good, but it's obviously a lot of... And you always feel terrible because there's a lot of hard work has gone into a lot of the work around the creation of the dinosaurs. There's a lot of work in terms of the actual, the filmmaking process. And this is a big blockbuster film where lots of people have been involved. It was shot, I think, during COVID as well. So lots of work, lots of money has been put into this, and it's never nice to be sitting and going, "Oh, this didn't work. This didn't work."
I don't know. I do quite enjoy it.
I know you do. But it was just very disappointing.
Can I ask a question about fire locusts?
I mean, you can. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer it.
Were they meant to escape? Because for me, it was just torching the evidence.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they're out of a chute that's just there.
And I've heard on other pods that people were going, oh yeah, and then they released them, and that was all part of his plan. That wasn't my take on it. My take was, because then he ended up having to evacuate all the dinosaurs, and he seemed to be annoyed by that.
Yeah, and there was, because he does this angry... I mean, have you seen that actor before? Because he plays the very same... He plays the head of a search engine that's trying to win the election for Joel Kinnaman in one of the seasons of House of Cards.
Okay.
Playing very much the same role, just a little bit more alpha than... But, I mean, I can't believe that they... I can't believe that everything...
It was very long as well, wasn't it, darling?
Do you know what? I didn't feel the length.
Yeah, I did, but just for that, a little bit of tightness, like you say, it's like someone shoved everything at a wall and just seen what's come out. Whereas if we just sat and gone, what do we need to do with this? how many dinosaurs do we actually need? Because the more that you show the dinosaurs, the less the threat, that's terrible grammar, but the less afraid I am.
They've put 2 alphas in the same jungle.
Oh, well, don't they do that every time?
That won't. But under my breath, I thought, and the next line should be, and that'll pay off in the 3rd act.
Yeah,
yes,
because it's the same every time, isn't it? And it's always the T-Rex that comes through, even though you have like the Gigantosaurus, whatever, that is meant to be the biggest apex predator. And well, no, it isn't, because you're just undermining that in your last scene. So it ends the same way, doesn't it? Like, here comes the T-Rex, helped by a buddy, seemingly in Jurassic World, helped by a buddy in this film, and then off they wander into the jungle, and then off Blue goes with their baby, which is very similar to The Lost World, which is like Jurassic Park 2, essentially. Yeah, I know you're shrugging, but there was a baby and involved in that, a baby dinosaur involved in that. So it's like, oh, come on. And then, how does it end? Is it just now we're all at one together in the world? I can't even remember how it ends.
So yeah, so Ellie and Alan decide that they're going.
Oh, Ellie's now divorced, and her kids are all grown up. So now Alan's fine because he hates kids. And now Ellie's on her own again.
The Wonder Rice buys the same plane that she always had.
Yes, and draws on it. Yeah.
And then Jurassic 2.
Yeah.
And then Owen and Claire and Maisie live happily ever after.
Live in their little happy family.
Yeah, probably with. I mean, it's sad that we don't actually know. We can't actually mention how this ends.
I can't remember.
Blue
wanders off into the forest.
Blue forms a band with Beta on drums.
And Elton John comes.
Plays Dust in the Wind, and
I don't get that reference.
Oh no, that's very deep cut. That's a reference to a film that maybe only Neil will get. When he listens to this in 4 years' time.
Hi, Neil.
Yeah, hi, Neil. When he listens to this in 4 years' time. If it's in serious, if anyone understands that reference, please drop us a tweet or get in touch, because I'm really interested to know. Yeah.
How many stars?
Oh, 1 star.
Really?
Yeah, because I hated this film.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's not a badly made film, apart from the writing. Like, there's some nice shots, but like, if I'm doing it on how much I enjoyed it, like, yeah, 1 star. Like,
okay.
Yeah. If I hate a film more this year, then that's going to be an entertaining podcast. How many stars from you? Sorry,
low 3.
Hang on.
It's that just meh. High 2, low 3, middle of the road. I watched it. I thought it was ridiculous at times. Sometimes I thought, I'm coming along. I'm going along with it, especially second half. But it's just
your star ratings are all over
totally
the place.
Incredulous. I couldn't give it 1 star because it's not a god awful film. You know, when I think a 1 star film is something that's so badly made, that's had no love and attention put into it, and I didn't see any value in it whatsoever. Whereas with this, I just think I watched it. That was a film. There was some good imagery in. There was some good scenes. There were people that I enjoyed, like your Wonder Wise. It's a high 2, low 3.
And after this podcast, that's 1 star less than Inside Out.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not that many stars to go around, is it? I mean, there's not that much difference between a 3 and a 4.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And that...
Well, maybe more of a 2.5, high 2 then. Does that make you feel happier?
No, like... Of all the numbers you were going to say, like... Okay, I didn't think you were going to say 5 or 4, but 3 was pretty
low
far.
3, that, like, I'm talking right in the middle.
We've just spent an hour criticising every single part of this film from start to finish.
Yeah,
in how it was an incoherent plot.
Yes.
Annoying characters.
Yes.
And burns the promising premise. This is like in Empire Strikes Back, in the opening crawl. It says Han Solo got out of the carbonite and Luke Skywalker defeated Darth Vader.
Hey,
Now let's get back to them fucking taxes.
that's it's my rating,
Well,
and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. That's my rating, and that's the way I'm looking at it. That's the way I have analysed it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing that you can.
That is amazing. I think didn't Empire give it 3?
Yeah, but Empire didn't just spend the entire thing going how shit it was.
No, but Empire, and like when you're looking at a review, they're not going to spend the entire review just saying how rubbish. We are pulling it apart in a slightly comedic way, I think.
Oh no! I'm not pulling apart in a comedic way. I'm pulling it apart in an absolutely serious way.
Maybe I am. Maybe I am less.
That was not the impression that I got. That it was, middling.
I think it is. I think it is low to. It's in that bottom half. And we'll talk about this as much as you like, love. But I'm still going to come out with it. I'm not going to give it 1 star. I'll give it a 2 or a 3, but I'm not going to give it a 1 for all the reasons previously mentioned.
Okay. Well, if you want to listen to Elaine say a film that's 1 star better than this, or 1 and a little bit star better than this, we have got an episode about Inside Out, which Elaine loved.
Let it go, please.
No. This is the measuring stick.
I mean, we have done 112 episodes or something, 130,
yes.
I don't know, and that was one of our very early doors episodes, and you've thought about that all this time, haven't you?
Yeah, it still hurts.
I gave Inside Out 4 stars. You weren't happy with my rating.
It still hurts.
Don't ask me for a rating if you don't like what I'm going to say.
Don't have a completely skewed rating system.
I can have a system, any system that I like.
1
That's
awful,
fine.
2 bad, 3 average, 4 great.
Average.
That's what.
But what was 2 bad?
That's what you. That's. I'm just working yours. 1
Yeah.
awful, 1 the worst film in the world.
Yeah.
2 bad.
Yeah.
3.
3 meh.
You see. Yeah.
4
Anyway.
good. Yeah. 5 brilliant. There you go. That's my rate. That's my star
But
rating.
you've not described an average film here.
I think I have. I think I've described perfectly. Well, that's what I said. I said, angry, disappointed, and then I went, meh. It's average, but it's between bad and average. Between 2 and 3, low 3, high 2. I'm not going through this again, Mark.
Should be nowhere near a 3. This one. Like from what you've said to me, you can do whatever you want, but the impression is that there should be no like a low 2. I might be able to, or a medium 2. I was like, this is really boring for anyone listening. So
But yeah, I'm pursing my lips.
Yes.
And looking off into the distance.
let's carry this off screen. Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
This was very cathartic for me.
Yes.
And
I think it's also brought out some new
some issues with our marriage that might need some attention from a professional.
Maybe I should just play this to like a therapist and see what they say.
I don't think I'd come out of that well.
Let me just play this section for our podcast and let us know what you think. So yeah, thanks very much everyone for listening. You can find us on social media at The Honeymoon Pod. We're on Instagram and Twitter.
And if you want to leave us a review, that would be much appreciated. It really helps people find us. And you can do so on Instagram. No.
You can do
iTunes.
it on Apple Podcast as it's now known.
Yes, and Spotify. And probably a few others. But
And probably a few others, yeah.
We need to come back with a TV.
TV, because there's loads of good TV on at the moment.
Yes, there is.
Yes,
and there's,
there is.
And there's
Yes, there
Obi-Wan.
is. Yeah.
And we'll see you. So we'll be back really soon with that. Cool. We'll see you later.